Hey everyone, is anyone watching? Well, likely not, but if you are watching after this is finished, then hi everyone, the angry anime fan, the despair reviewer, here to bring you just a little talk. I don't know how long this will be, but just a little talk about the fact that the year is wrapping up, and I was thinking of doing a live stream, sort of most of the mangas I review. Note, not all of them, but mostly some of them. So now let's talk a little bit about One Piece and the enormous amount of what's that word? Tidal wave that has been going up and down for me and maybe for others. Because let's say the title of this is basically One Piece discussion, Broken Pedestal or Ungrateful Bastard. And you know, Broken Pedestal, if you are a fan of going to TV tropes, usually says that something you have always adored with someone, and then just suddenly something happens that makes you see, okay, this wasn't so great. Or ungrateful bastard, that could very well just be to me, because sometimes a person is very ungrateful even after they have been saved for their lives. Or sometimes even and mangas is a very difficult job. I'm not an artist, but I do know that it is. So sometimes we just may be very ungrateful because we have too high expectations or so. I mean, you can take that how it is. So I'm here to just a little bit talk about this. And first of all, summarize what One Piece have been for me this year, so to speak. So well, is the some seems like someone also joined in the talking. That's pretty rare. Normally, a lot of people don't really join with hi there. So okay, let's talk about the first thing. What first off, why would One Piece become a broken pedestal? For a very long time, One Piece was a manga I considered to be perfection. And if you are asking yourself, perfection? Are you dumb? How did you think that it was like that? Well, then I say, well, it had fights, it had characters, it had story, it had emotion, it had art, it had adventure, it had story, it had continuity, it had a lot of things. And it still has all of that. So why would it be broken? Well, then we come to that ungratefulness, is the fact that One Piece hasn't really changed too much. It still has its themes that it's always had to have, so to speak. These themes of adventure, reason, and many things more. However, is the fact that a lot of people don't like where the story has been heading. And it has been for many variety of reasons, both stupid and wise. What are my reasons? Well, I would consider them a fusion of both. So let's talk a little bit about that. Okay, first of all, why would I feel like One Piece has lost its touch just a little bit? First of all, Sanji. Sanji is by far my favorite Straw Hat. Well, after this guy joined the troop, he will become my favorite Straw Hat, and I'm talking about Jinbei. However, given to the fact that I'm still wondering if why did not Jinbei marry that daughter of the Charlotte family? There are two reasons why. Either one, he simply did not want to endanger her because he considers he has too many, well, you know, burdens to bear, or two, he's just not swaying that way, if you get what I mean. And I want those two answers. I want to know if it's any of those two. So until we do, I cannot place him until as my favorite Straw Hat, even though they wouldn't change that he is still very awesome. However, Sanji's character, this whole Cake Island arc, it started 2018's in chapter 891 and probably ended 928. That is, well, about 37 chapters. Wow. Now, what do you think about it? That is very short and yet very long at the same time. But it's true, Oda can only do about 37 chapters a year. Because making One Piece is a very big burden. It's worth noting that he has to take a break every now and again. And given to the fact that he takes a break during the times we consider is the most the time that is not right, it doesn't help. And it also is the fact that Oda likes to put in a lot of time in this chapter where nothing happens. But only when the arc is complete do you go back to that chapter and realize, oh, now I see. That works. I mean, One Piece is for a lot of analyzers. Actually, there has been a lot of good One Piece chapter, I wouldn't say chapter reviewers, chapter analyzers out there. Especially that, what was his name called? Author, the Ohara Librarian. Ohara Library. I mean, his details about the chapters are very appreciated. It makes One Piece a little bit more fun to read nowadays. But my point is, Sanji's character, his character has been a lot of wasted. And here is where a lot of people argue with me. They say, oh, come on, Angry. Can you just stop bitching and just admit that this is how Sanji's character is? And then I become a little bit more of a bitch and say, no, because have you even tried to look back on what kind of character he used to be? No, I'm serious. Look back on what kind of character he must be. What happened to the guy that could hold his breath underwater, even though he was being overwhelmed by a fishman, and then got up and kicked the guy to the ground? What happened to the guy that could kick a giant crocodile, alligator, banana, whatever, in the stomach, up in the air, and even intimidate Mr. 3 to do all that? What happened to the guy that could trick Crocodile? What happened to the guy that gave Absalom the beating needed? What happened to the guy that showed his Diable Jambe? What happened to the guy that could kick a pacifista? I'm serious. Look in the Whole Cake Island and you will find none of that. Sorry, I dropped the word. Instead, it feels like Oda has decided to change Sanji's character. And while change sometimes is good, I do not like this change, mostly because why must he change? Can't someone else change too? Can't Usopp become a little less cowardly? Can't Frankie become a little less pervertedly? Can't Zoro become a little less unreliable? I mean, no, granted, I like his unreliableness, but instead, Oda has made Sanji too kind. It's even the fact how his family treated him. How his family treated him was one of the most heartbreaking moments for me to see. And you know what was even more heartbreaking? He didn't kick their asses when the Whole Cake Island ended. But here is where a lot of people began to argue with me. They began to say, Angry, you have to look at the bigger picture. And then I say to them, okay, tell me, what is the bigger picture? And then they answer like this. Think about it. The Windsmokes were unforgivable characters, and they always mocked Sanji. And yet it was Sanji who, despite all of that, saved them. Basically, he proved himself they're better. He didn't owe them anything. He didn't want to save them. He hated them, but he still saved them. Basically proving himself to be a paragon. And I can admit, okay, a paragon image, I'm a sucker for those images. But I still don't like the fact that Sanji just hasn't had a decent fighting ever since the time skip. The last decent fight he had was Wadatsumi. And even that he fought together with Jinbei. And then there was the fight against Virgo. You know, it was actually there. It was actually in that moment I began to realize, okay, Oda, what are you doing to Sanji? Because Sanji's leg was broken in that fight, and it was never brought up again. No, I'm serious. It was never brought up again. I mean, granted, it's okay for me if you feel like that, but I'm still saying it wasn't brought up again. I mean, Oda could just have easily thrown in a joke, a joke where he said like, Sanji, isn't your leg broken? Oh no, it's already healed. Huh? How did that happen? I ran a lot, and I guess my bones have become healing. Oda could have thrown in that joke, because at least he did that to Brook and Luffy. They had broken bones in Whole Cake Island, and then they drank milk and their bones immediately healed. That was fine. But Sanji got none of that. Instead, it was just ignored. Completely ignored. And Oda honestly forgot. And here is since I've been joined here with Ricardo Riso, the god. Well, I see that you agree a lot on the things that I had to say about it. But I do, although I wouldn't say One Piece has become the worst thing ever, I do admit that it has been, that it's really had taken a nosedive to not as enjoyable as it used to be. It's no longer in my top 1, I can tell you that. It's in my top 10 of the best mangas that I like to read, but not in the top 10, maybe on the 8th or 9th, and that is very dangerous. But I do feel like when it comes to this character, Oda has ruined him. All I am begging for Oda is to give him one decent fight. One decent fight. That is all I ask. They're up against the Beast Pirates now in the whole Wano Kuri. All I am asking is one simple fight. He doesn't lose. He wins. And then I will cry tears of joy. No, serious. I will cry tears of joy. That is all I am begging. And it's all that I want from him. Do that, and I promise you I won't complain about Sanji's character much. That's the first fault I think that One Piece has done with, Oda has done with One Piece. Second of all is the fact that no manga artist is immortal, and Oda is no exception. You can definitely see that One Piece is beginning to tear on him. He has an amazing way to tell a story. You can say that One Piece is not as great as before. It's okay for me. But you cannot deny that if you go look back in One Piece, then you really do see that he has ups and downs. You like that arc, you hate that arc, you like that arc, you hate that arc, and yet it all ties together. Because the thing is, there's still some unanswered questions here. Some unanswered questions about One Piece. And that is one of the reasons why I always go back to it, because I one day hope we will get them. Will I be satisfied when we see them? I don't know. Oh wait, did you just say something here? Oda has ruined Nami, Robin, Zoro, Chopper, Sanji? Okay, Sanji I agree. Nami, well, how can he have ruined Nami? Nami was already who he was. I agree though that he has ruined Robin, because Robin had the opportunity, every single opportunity, to have Haki after the time skip. I mean, she is even knowledge about Haki, so I am actually cursing a little bit and saying, why hasn't Robin Haki? I mean, why? She should have that. She has suffered enormous amount in the past and the present of any person, of any female that in the One Piece community of the Straw Hat crew. She is the one who should have Haki, and yet she do not. And she also do not get so much fights. Granted, Oda never does give that to his female people, but I still don't really like that. So I can agree, Robin, yes, is ruined. Zoro, however, no, that's the opposite. He hasn't ruined Zoro's character. He has hyped him up too much. And I don't like that. I don't like that he has hyped up Zoro too much, because that just means that one day when Zoro loses, we will all be thrown into despair, and I don't like that. As Chopper, to be honest, I hate Chopper. Every single thing about Chopper. Now, if he had a male voice, I would have liked him a little better. But no, he doesn't have that, so I don't do that. And I don't mind if Nami is a sexy poster for everything else, because I am a guy who likes ero manga. Not that I read them a lot, but one day I'll talk a live stream about my pet peeves and all that stuff. But getting back to that fact, that is that you can notice that Uda is slowing down a little bit. However, so we have to respect that, but we still can criticize him for that. It's just that we have to find a level of, okay, is this what I want to criticize? Is this not what I want to criticize? Second, the whole Cake Island arc. The whole Cake Island arc left a lot of people mad, me included. Now, the reason why they were mad has very varied depending on people. So okay, if I'm counting myself, what did I think that was the whole Cake Island arc was trash for? Okay, I have already stated my first reason, Sunny's character. Second of all, the Jonko crew member and of the Big Mom Pirates. The third of all, we were introduced to this family, and yet we didn't find out every single one. We have only found out through anime data card, and it's not until January when we're finally gonna get the Vivre card of the sons. So after that, finally, we will have the entire Charlotte family here. But I still wanted us to see a little bit of all of the Charlotte family. I didn't like that the Straw Hats had to lose. Yes, Grant, you heard me. They are the freaking main characters. It doesn't matter if it's a Jonko crew. A Jonko crew has to fall. You have to realize that. A villain has to fall every now and again, and it didn't. Second of all, it's Big Mom characters. If there's anything people have criticized about Uda, it's always been the fact that Uda can't really write female characters, and even I have to grudgingly agree. However, I also have to say, although this may sound a little sexist, I have to say, then how do you want to write a female character? I know that sounds incredibly sexist of saying. It's just that for me, it doesn't matter if a female have big boobs as long as she can kick ass. And for me, a female doesn't have to have a deep voice. She has to have this feminine voice of thing and be all kinds of kick ass. She doesn't have to be a damsel in distress, but she doesn't have to be it all the time either. So for me, I prefer a strong female character, which is usually strong in both strength, feminine in personality, enormous sexy, and not independent, not afraid to ask for anyone's help. So Uda sometimes do not know how to write those kind of characters, and it's very difficult to write a female character. Because now I'm going to talk a little bit about myself a little quickly here. I'm writing, in my free time, I try to write a book, okay? And I have tried to write my characters. And trust me, if anyone read about those characters, they will immediately send hate mail to me. Because they will say, like, that kind of character looks like this. And the way you portray it is extremely negative. So I don't know if Oda gets hate mail for portraying his female characters like the way he do, but I can agree that he doesn't really portray them very well. So what was my problem with Big Mom? She was too unstoppable. She was unforgivable, and yet she suffered nothing of it. She speaks in ore. Why? No, seriously. Why? Why does she talk with an ore? It's you don't find that very lot, but bukoku girls pop up every now and again. And sometimes when a girl talks in ore, you know they're very tomboyish. And yet Big Mom still dresses up in dresses and has a lot of children. So why? Why is she talking with ore? Is it possible that she has, because of her mental instability? Fourth is the fact that I hate her gluttony. I'm gluttonous myself, but it's not self-hatred in that. It's just the fact that she's so unforgivable. And fifth of all, a lot of people thought that she would be redeemed. But the way we have seen her character, this entire whole Cake Island arc, she is a complete monster to me. And I want nothing more than to see her dead. Not because I hate her as a character. No, I just hate her. I just want her to drop dead. She's unforgivable. She's a villain that is unforgivable and she needs to die. Because a lot of people defended Big Mom, thought she would be redeemed because of the connection to Lola, which was the third flaw in the whole Cake Island arc. Lola, she said her mama was a pirate, and as soon as we saw Big Mom, I began to suspect that yeah, maybe it is that way. And in the end, it turned out to be that way. However, she hates her daughter, and yet her daughter has no awareness of this. Why? We never got a single explanation of why that. The only hand wave explanation we have of that is the fact that Lola is a very happy-go-lucky girl. She's incredibly naive and horribly judged of a person. She has very difficult to judge a person. So apparently she is incredibly naive. And I feel like that is a very lame way for Uda to do that. I think it would have been better if her sister could have, thrown in a little peace and quiet where we can agree to disagree that Lola has a mental disorder, a denial disorder. After all, she is Big Mom's daughter, and mental instability seems to run in the family. So I'm just saying, would have been better if we get some offhand count that maybe Lola is suffering from some kind of delusion disorder because she doesn't want to admit it. It would explain why she's so happy all the time. So that was the third thing about it. I didn't like the fact that Big Mom didn't suffer. I really wanted her to suffer. I wanted her to be defeated. I wanted her to feel the humiliation of defeat, but she got none of that. But first of all, I'm gonna say this: I were one of the few people who did not mind the Katakuri fight. Okay, I did not mind the Katakuri fight. Could it have been better? Of course it could have, but I didn't mind it because Katakuri was an advanced character. From the beginning, he looked like an arrogant and serious person, but in the end, he had hidden depths all over him. And in the end, he congratulated Luffy and admitted his defeat gracefully. That is the kind of character I like. And then we got the Reverie arc. The Reverie arc were actually when One Piece got back to the hype train again. A lot of bombs were dropped that made this a little bit more exciting again. But now we're in the Wano Kuri arc, and I did not like the first act. The first act was slow. It had introduced too many characters, introduced too many unforgivable characters, and and none of them have suffered. Luffy fought Kaido, and he couldn't even put a dent on him. It's strange. A lot of people celebrated when that happened. I were one of the few who cursed it. I said, why? Don't you fans realize? Luffy has to win one day! The Junko is standing in his way, so he has to win. A Junko cannot be unbeatable forever. So I criticized people by saying the fact that Oda could at least have made Kaido bleed, so we at least know that he had a chance. But no, we didn't see that. And then we ended about having another perhaps unforgiven female character of it all. Wano Kuri promises to be an arc that may be one of the more hyped up arcs of One Piece ever. Or it could just very well be the arc where everyone finally decides to drop One Piece. Will I drop it? Actually, as much as I'm complaining about One Piece, I don't think I will drop it. No, because One Piece has been such a big part of my life every single day. And also, complaining about it isn't that what a fan is supposed to do? If you don't like it anymore, then just complain about it. That's basically what you're supposed to do. And I'm the Despair reviewer, so I am the only one that has to speak out and say, I do not like this. I will agree that One Piece is not as great as it used to be, but I will also say that One Piece is not the worst manga out there, but it's not the best either, not anymore. It is merely feeling like Oda is slowing down too much. And it feels like we have to speed up the game to get to the end game. And I also feel like he has to make his male characters a little bit more unbeatable. But he doesn't. So, yeah. It's basically my little rant and discussion about the fact of broke. So, what is One Piece to me? A broken pedestal or an ungrateful bastard thing? Maybe it's in the end it's ungrateful, because as I said before, making manga is not easy, and he still has 928 as of this video chapters. So, what happens when he reaches 1,000? Well, it will be an achievement, but I hope that when he reaches 1,000, that he has begun to finally enter the final arc, because when a manga is reaching that much, even I have to say to it, okay, start thinking to end it. Because for me, a manga should at least go over 600 if it's very popular. 600 chapters. Then you can end. But Oda has gone over that. And while it's been a roller coaster of good and bad, I still feel like you should begin to plan the end. And I actually hope that when the Wano Kuri arc is over, that we are entering the final arcs. Because if you think about it, this should be very possible. Big Mom is heading towards Wano Kuri. The Yonko Kaido is already here. So this is the perfect place to defeat them. Defeat them both, Straw Pirates. Defeat the Big Mom Pirates. Defeat the Beast Pirates. And once you do, the story will have moved very long ahead. Because then it means that two of the most powerful Jonkos are no more. It will create chaos, and then all that is left is the world novels, Akainu, and then Blackbeard. And when I'm saying world novels, I'm also counting Im-sama of the world novels into that. So if he does that, then we can all but see the end at last. But we'll see what happens, won't it? I'll wrap this discussion up by saying that yes, Oda has lost a little bit of his touch, at least to me. He no longer treats Sanji's character well. The whole Cake Island arc was not as amazing as I thought it was gonna be. But I still hope that he will find something. However, if I met Oda in real life, the one question I would ask him would be, is Sanji your least favorite Straw Hat? Because the way he's portraying him now, I have strong suspicion that it is so. That Sanji really is his least favorite character. Okay, that is the final talk about this video. Well, I don't know if I'll make another One Piece live stream before the end of the year, but we'll see about it. You can give me your thoughts.